Today, on Be Something Wonderful, Busting Limiting Beliefs. You are looking at reality as reality. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I had a session with a new client yesterday that she said, Tom, I've been really working on identifying my false beliefs, my limiting beliefs, because I feel that that's what's holding me back from really creating what I want in my life. And I've been working with other coaches on this, and I just can't seem to move forward on this. I don't even know really what I'm believing that's causing me that's keeping me away from what I want. Well, guys, I want to talk about this today and more. So we had a great session because, and I've talked about this in other videos. Remember that I often say that you're looking at reality as reality. What else does that imply? It implies that when you're looking at your beliefs, you're looking as your beliefs. Do you hear this? So if there's no bottom, you're creating the beliefs that you're looking for. If you believe that you have limited, false, negative beliefs that are holding you back from everything you want, you create a reality of having false, limited, negative beliefs that are holding you back from everything you want. This is big. It's not that, and I'm not saying it's not good to identify beliefs that you believe no longer serve you. That's not the message here. The message here is when you believe this and you go searching for them, you're creating them as you do that. So I really want to hit this because the best way to really know what you're believing is look at your life experience. Look around. What are you experiencing? Because you're only ever experiencing what you are believing. Wow. Let's unpack this today like we never have before. So Neville Goddard says there's no fiction. Right? There's only what you imagine and what you believe. And really, we can go further to say there are no facts. There's no fiction, there's no facts. It's only what you believe. Facts are beliefs about reality, they're not reality. We've talked about ultimate reality. Yesterday, we were talking about that in terms of letting go of beliefs and negative emotions and things that are not really you. Right? So all that you have left is who you really are. That divine you, that unlimited you. Right? This is really pointing to the Sedona method, Lester Levinson, Dr. David R. Hawkins. It's all the same idea, Dr. Joe Dispenza. They all talk about this. That's what the letting go process is letting go of beliefs that don't serve you, letting go of feelings and negative emotions that don't serve you. And what's left is who you really are. But you can also start deductively and say that you're God, that you are divinity, that you're one with all there is, right? And that you're unlimited. And then attract the beliefs that identify or that support that assumption. Do you hear this? This is the law of assumption that Neville Goddard talks about, right? Identifying with your wish fulfilled, identifying with your highest ideal. And then your belief, the thoughts and beliefs that come to you will coalesce around that, will support that assumption, will support that identity, and so won't the experiences in your life. That's big. Let's unpack this a little bit more. Remember, facts are beliefs about reality, not reality. They are beliefs that you are projecting through your consciousness that you consider to be true about reality. That's really why they feel so hard to find, or they feel they feel like they're hiding out. Because you're confusing the beliefs with what's true. And they're not truth. They're just beliefs. But because you've thought them so long and felt them so long, for so long, you believe that they're true. You believe that's who you are, and you believe that's reality. That's big. Yes, believing is seeing, but even bigger than that, believing is experiencing. You're only ever experiencing what you're believing. Therefore, what you are experiencing in 3D reality indicates what you are believing. Wow. Let's continue this. So And she said, well, it just feels like the way things are hard to change, right? And remember, the way things are the way you are, but not the way you truly are, not who you truly are. It's what you believe you are, your assumptions about yourself and 3D reality. There are no facts other than just your beliefs about reality and your relationship to it. You create it all. The way things are that way because you keep your beliefs about reality and yourself in place by reacting and interacting with them as if it's real and unchangeable, or in other words, as if it's a fact. You keep that belief in place, and you react to it, you argue with it, you embrace it, you reject it. Whatever you're doing, you're interacting with it as if it is unchangeable, as if it is a fact, right? As if it is real. Right? You are always looking at and expressing reality as reality. You are always looking for your beliefs about reality as your beliefs. That's why there's no bottom. You're looking as the same beliefs, same identity that you're looking for, that you're looking to find and change. Wow. We've talked about this in other ways, right? Subconscious or unconscious beliefs, right? Meaning they're not, you haven't made those beliefs, you're not consciously aware of them, right? They're there and they're not buried deep inside, but are thoughts that you have thought and felt so much about that you hold them as true and real. That's what makes them feel so inaccessible, right? That's why we feel they're unconscious or subconscious. Because you're aware of them, right? They're there, but it's a question of bringing them to awareness, right? Because remember, if you're unconscious, if you're not awake, if you're not creating, right, then you're reacting, right? So much so that you don't even need to consciously think about them anymore. You believe them to be reality. Do you hear that? You don't even think about them anymore. That you believe them to be reality. You believe them to be truth. Wow. So they are not hiding out. They're not hidden somewhere deep in your subconscious where you are totally unaware of them. Rather, you consider them to be the truth about yourself and about reality. That's why they're called limiting beliefs. They limit your perception of infinity, who you really are, and your unlimitedness. That's why we call them limiting beliefs. They limit who you believe you want to be now, the experience that you want to have in 3D reality. It's not that they're inherently negative or inherently false. It's because they no longer serve you or serve who you want to be, right? That's powerful right there, right? Subconscious, the thoughts that you've thought so much and felt so much that you believe they're real. So much so you don't even consciously think about them. You put them back in your subconscious as a truth about yourself and reality. Wow. The reason limited, false, or negative beliefs appear to be hiding is that you are looking for your beliefs as your beliefs, right? You think something. And then you attract other thoughts, and then you attract emotions with it. You charge those thoughts with emotions. You feel those thoughts, right? Thoughts attract other thoughts. You feel those thoughts. And then they create a belief, right? And then that belief, you believe that belief so much and for so long that it becomes a truth of what you believe reality is. That's how it works. That's big. When your conscious thought attracts other like thoughts, charged with emotion, it becomes automatic. It becomes an automatic belief pushed into your subconscious and accepted as truth about yourself and reality. That's why they feel so inaccessible to you. They're not. They're there. And you're aware of them. Just look at your life experience. They're showing you in everything that you are, right? It's as remember, in the end, they just started out, they're just a thought. All of that big, dense belief and truth that you believe is so true is just a thought. Right? Behind it all is just a thought. Wow. That's big. So underneath all events, behind all conditions, facts, circumstances, are just beliefs that are only true if you believe them. Behind everything you see, the drama and trauma in 3D, the things you enjoy, the things you don't enjoy, all of it, Behind all of it are your beliefs, right? Remember, you can't experience it unless you believe it, right? When you change your beliefs, you change reality, you change your whole life experience. Remember, your whole life experience is only what you're thinking in this moment. And you only ever feel what you're thinking. And you believe that thought. That's why you're experiencing it. You can't experience what you don't believe. Right? And then you say, I have to find and dissolve my limiting beliefs. Well, I know what the reasoning for that, right? You want to identify them. But remember, when you're trying to search and believe that you have them, you're creating that reality that you create the beliefs you're looking for. You're not looking at them, you're looking as them. Do you hear that? Instead, look at your life experience. If you want to look, right? If you really feel you have to identify them, I mean, the best way is using the law of assumption, right? Identifying that concept of yourself that you want to be. Who do you want to be? What's your wish fulfilled? Identifying with that. And then you build beliefs and other assumptions around that core assumption, that core identity, that core belief. Do you see that? But instead, so if you really want to know what's going on, look at your life experience. It will point to what you're believing. Negative or limiting beliefs mean that they no longer serve you. It's not that they're inherent negative, but they are limiting because they try to limit infinity, right? You remember, you're infinite, you're multidimensional. So all beliefs, by definition, are limiting. They're all limiting. Because it's a belief. Unless you're believing yourself to be unlimited, then every other belief is limited. Do you get this? That's powerful, right? They no longer represent who you desire to be or the reality you desire to create. That's why they're called negative or false or limiting beliefs. They no longer represent who you are or who you want to be. But again, as I said, the only belief that's not limiting is the belief that you're not limited, that you're multidimensional, that you're eternal, that you're God, that you're divinity, right? Everything else is going to limit you. And we do that to identify with 3D experience, to have some sort of experience in 3D, right? I am something, whatever that is, right? So there's no such thing as self-sabotaging beliefs unless you believe that. This came up yesterday. Right? Why would you ever want to self-sabotage yourself? Right? Why would your inner being that higher you, that greater you, want to set you up for failure? Right? It's a belief. Right? If you believe that, that's what it will be. It's just because they appear to be hiding, and because we confuse beliefs. We believe the beliefs to be truth. We confuse our beliefs with reality versus beliefs about reality. And that's why they feel like it's self-sabotaging. Because you believe that you are that belief. And that becomes your reality. And then therefore it feels like you can't control anything. Okay? So all your beliefs that you've had or have were adopted. Hear this. This is big. With an intent, with a positive intent. That you believed or believe could serve you in some way. Whatever that intent was, or you would have never adopted them or believed them. You believe that there's some intention. There was always a positive intention. It wasn't to sabotage yourself. It wasn't to say, I want to adopt this limiting belief. You believe that belief had some positive intent, right? The beliefs you hold on to must serve you, or you believe they do, or have some sort of payoff, or you wouldn't hold on to them. You wouldn't continue to create reality around those beliefs unless you believed somehow that they served you in some way. Do you get this? Right? It's really, we're talking about freedom here, right? This is really creative control. So if you believe you have a negative or limiting belief, the question is why? What's the hidden payoff of still holding them? If you believe that, if you're going to focus on limiting beliefs and you believe that, then why do you have, that's the question, right? So there is a process where you can identify limiting beliefs without recreating them, without living that reality, right? Look at what you are judging as negative experiences in your life. Look around. Whatever you're judging as negative, there must be a belief behind that no longer serves you because you're only ever experiencing what you're believing, right? So the best way is to assume that identity, right? What identity, what concept of yourself do you want to be? What's your wish fulfilled? Identify with that wish, identify with that ideal, that dream. And then all the other beliefs and assumptions will form around that. But if you really want to figure it out, if you want to figure out what's going on, you can ask yourself the question, what must I be believing to experience, feel, and see this? Right? Or even a better question to identify what you feel, what must I believe to be what I want to be? That's the best question. But if you want to identify it, we'll bring that to the forefront. The answer to that question will identify your limiting belief. The key is to bring what was previously unconscious to conscious awareness. That's the key to everything. Because once you bring it to conscious awareness, it's no longer unconscious, it's no longer in your subconscious, it's no longer there to pop in and out and to feel like you don't have control. Right? This is the idea of the Sedona method, with Lester Levinson, Dr. David R. Hawkins, when they talk about feelings and unwanted realities and things you don't want or things you don't want to believe. All of that is about just shedding everything that you are not so you can just shine with who you are. Right? That's what Lester Levinson did, right? He shed it all. Right? And that's the most powerful creative state because everything you want's already within you. So you are everything. You are already that. It's immediate. It's done. Right? This is powerful. So this is what Vadim Zeland says in Reality Transcend. I see myself. I see reality. The key is waking up, bringing it all to conscious awareness. Remember, you don't have to think like that anymore. Just like the movie Solaris. You don't have to believe like that anymore. Right? You change the past, present, and future in the now moment while you look at reality as reality, while you look at your beliefs as your beliefs. So the question is, what do you want to believe now? Who do you want to be now? Right? Busting limited beliefs, you are looking at reality as reality. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. You can hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful. We also have a group called the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. We now have over 1,000. Join the group and it's growing. You can join that on Facebook. And you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen, or visit our website anytime at tomkaren.com or besomethingwonderful.com. With great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom. See you soon.